Hello and welcome to the Sunbirdcrochet podcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Germany. Today I have for you a bit of a catch-up because I've been away for 2 weeks. I think you know that already because I posted a couple of scenes, like video footage from what I experienced these last 14 plus days, and I hope you enjoyed that. I will talk a little bit more about the island of Borkum where I've been at the end, like after the crochet and fiber content. So let's start with my projects. I haven't done much at all. I've been working on one project a little bit, which I had with me during the holidays, during my getaway, and that's the assigned pooling crochet shawl. It's living in this bag here, which was made by my mother, one of her early project bags. These are mermaids and it's a drawstring bag. And for my assigned pooling yarn project, I'm using this yarn, which I've bought at Dornröschenkeller. It's 75% wool and 25% polyamide. It's superwash, 420 meters per 100 grams. And what else can I say about it? Dornröschenkeller is Patricia Brot. She's living in Rauschenberg. She has her own website and her own Etsy shop, which is where I've got it. dornröschenkeller.etsy.com. And I'm very fond of this color. Focus is not going to happen. Let me just show you a project. I'm using a 4mm hook and I've got 3 skeins of yarn. This is the first one, so I'm still on the first one, and this is my progress. This is supposed to look like brambles or like a bit of little rose buds on the shawl. The buds are all puff stitches and I'm making them each time I'm hitting the color repeat. The yarn is mainly, let me show you a full skein. The yarn is mainly in burgundy color, but now and then there starts a green, pink, green section. It's quite a short section, and I'm using that section to make my rosebud. And the rosebud is just like a puff stitch, yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull, yarn over, pull up, etc. And usually it takes me 8 times the process until I pull through all loops with a final yarn strand. And I'm increasing by 2 stitches on each side unless I'm hitting the yarn color repeat at the edge, and that's when I do just a puff stitch. And I remember to make the extra, I'm making more than 1 stitch into the puff stitch when I go back on it on the back row. So I'm changing, I'm turning my work each row, and I'm just doing double crochets unless it's one of the puff stitches. Did that make sense? I hope so. I'm really enjoying this project, but I've been so busy that I haven't done much progress. So just again, this is the fabric I'm creating. All these little buds of flowers. The shawl is reversible. There are buds on either side. And I think it will be quite a big shawl in the end, which I can use in winter or in autumn. So that's my current project. I'm not using a pattern as such. I'm just using the idea of assigned color pooling. And at first I wanted to make like a popcorn that was too big. Then I wanted to make three, like a fan that didn't look right. And then I thought it doesn't have to be a full flower, it can be a rosebud, and that's what that hit the spot, so to say. Now my other projects, they're also crochet, but they haven't seen much of me lately. So just to keep you updated, the assigned color pooling is project number 1. Project number 2 is still my granny stitch, my granny wrap. I'm working my minis away with this one, and I've made a magic ball of yarn. I'm using this like all my leftovers in my Advent minis. I've created a big ball of yarn, which is now not so big anymore, but I've got plenty more of minis waiting for me to be wound up. I'm using a 4mm hook here as well, which gives a nice loose drape, and this will be a shawl as well, probably a big one to wrap around while I'm watching TV, something like that. But as I said, not much progress with this one either. Number 3 lives here in my little cat bag. Which isn't focusing. Oh dear me, it's cat bag. I'm using a 3.5mm hook with this one, and it's a colorwork, crochet colorwork project. It's a cowl, an XXL. At the moment, I'm at the stage of doubting my choice of cowl size. It's really very, very big, and it takes me a very long time to make one row. And even though I've made some progress, I'm contemplating to frock this. Not sure yet. I am using yarn from Stash with this one. Just some leftovers, also a full skein of yarn here, and some more leftover yarn, and it's all subtle color differences, but as I said, it doesn't give me that much joy at the moment. Not sure if it will be a survivor. At the moment, I'm in a stage of letting go of things which are in my life but are not giving me joy or are giving me negative energy. Even though it sounds quite esoteric, I'm not like that, but yeah. So I've got limited crafting time these days. I'm not sure what I will do with this one at the moment. It's just lying in the corner until I made my decision. So that's project number 3. And project number 4, which I believe is my last project, unless you count the hibernating blanket, which is in my storage room. Haven't frogged that yet. It's the heritage blanket, but I don't count that right now. It's hibernating, as I said. So in my canvas bag with little Marie from Aristocats, I have my cotton yarn project. I'm using cotton yarn from Søstrene, something other Danish company, and also Gomitolo Colina, leftover yarn from a scarf project from Lana Grossa, and also different colors which I still got from Hobby Rainbow. This color, which is left over from my Flora cardigan, and this is from my sister's cardigan project. For this project I'm using a 5mm hook, and this is how far I've come. I've got, let me see, where's the front? It's a little bit twisted. Okay, I'm making this up as I go, the construction of this cardigan. And so far I've got 2 panels for the sleeves. I've connected them here, and this is going to be something like this. So I've got the arm tops, and now I have to extend the sleeves, not the arm, the sleeves, until I've got full sleeves, and then I'm going to work on the body. A little bit of an unusual construction, but hey, it's crochet. You can work it in any way, in any direction you would like. So this is the top of the arm later to give there some interest, and the rest will be in plain color. Yeah, and then I've still got 2 panels left for some pockets in the front. So that's the plan. Not much progress there either. Now, shall we talk about incoming? Something quite cute, but not yarn related at all, is a little plushie which I have here. I think it's called a plushie in English. It's a sheep. It's a little mascot, and I'm calling him Knut. Knut is spelled K-N-U-T, so it might look like a nut, but it's not. It's Knut, and he's cute. He's wearing a Südwester, a southwesterly, which means that he's ready and prepared for a bit of gusty wind and rain. And I got him on the island of Borkum. He has also a little cap, he has a hoodie, and he even has some rain boots. I have to repair this one. I don't know what happened there, but it's a little bit of a hole at the back. Maybe he kicked too much. I don't know. Also looks like he has got 2 different lengths of foot, but yeah, or maybe his one foot here is a little bit out of a shoe. We don't know, or maybe he's just I don't know what happened there. That's better. So little Knut will be my mascot, and you might see him now and then somewhere behind me, watching me, or maybe I'd even take him on my next travels. We will see. So that's Knut. Now, some more incoming while I was on Borkum. In summer they have a music program. They have a pavilion, and in there is a musician or a band, and they're playing live music during assigned times. And during the first week, the band there was called Flora Falls, and I've bought their album. It's a download code. It came with on a tea bag, and their album is called Ankle Deep. They are an acoustic band, a woman and a man, and they are from Berlin, and I highly recommend their music. I will leave a link to their YouTube channel down below, and if you would like to, you could have a little listen to their music. I really enjoyed it. It was very calming. It's acoustic, as I said. She has a lovely voice. He's playing guitar, and yeah, just very nice music. And I bought this for €5 to support the artists, and yeah, and I even get a cup of tea out of it. Now, I did buy other things, but they are not relevant to this podcast. So I thought I would wrap up a little bit of all the things which are still in the back of my mind, like this book, which I started around Christmas time, and I promised you that I would read it to the end. I did read the end, but just not in between. Because I think I already said so, that I guessed the murder. And it's a better book than The Maid, which I talked about before. The blurb says, in the early hours of Christmas Eve, the sleeper train to the Highlands is derailed along with the festive plans of its travellers, but that is only the beginning of her problems. When the body of one of the passengers is discovered in the locked room of her cabin, all the evidence points to murder. With the train stuck in the snow in the middle of nowhere, it's up to former Met Detective Ross Parker to find the killer before they strike again. But as the countdown to Christmas and their rescue begins, Ross discovers that there are many secrets on board this train and many passengers with motives for murder. All aboard for Murder on the Christmas Express. Now, when I read this, it was recommended on other channels, and when I heard about it, I was intrigued. And in my mind, I had a bit of it actually says here a page-turning homage to the Golden Age with a dash of Poirot and a dark modern heart. And I'm a huge fan of Agatha Christie and Poirot and murder stories, but this was not like an Agatha Christie novel. The person who gets killed is a social media influencer, and that's already so far away from anything Agatha Christie. I couldn't see it, and I tried my best. Good thing that I'm not having a book reading podcast, because you would only ever hear from me from the beginning and the end, because I cheated and the middle was so boring I couldn't bear it. Nah, it wasn't that bad, but I can't really recommend this book. I left it at page 48. That's where I skipped the in-between, and I will keep it there. Maybe sometime I will get back to it. In the meantime, however, of course, I've started to read a new book. And what I'm reading is, I think, a very well-known series of books. The author is Richard Osman, and it's the Thursday Murder Club. I'm reading it in German, and that's why it's called der Donnerstagsmordclub. and it's a bestseller. It's advertising with British crime humor, and this is about murder. It hasn't happened yet because I'm on page 46 in chapter 7, but I can see who will be a murder victim already. And the narrator at the moment, that is a lady called Joyce, and she is in a high upper class residence for seniors, like not an old age home but something like that, and the place is called Cooper's Chase, and Joyce meets other people there, Elizabeth, Ron and Ibrahim, and they are a former spy, and they bring their expertise from their former jobs into what they're doing now. And what they're doing now is to solve unsolved old murders. They are meeting in a room at Cooper's Chase every Thursday. That's why it's called the Thursday Murders Club. And they are talking about old case files, which one of them, who used to be working for the police, she's bringing the old case files. And Joyce is the new member, and they're talking about a murder. And I think, well, I'm not making a good story out of it. The owner of Cooper's Chase is a very unpleasant person, and he has plans. Cooper's Chase is in an old monastery or abbey, and he has plans to change everything around and make even more profit from it all. And there are people who don't like it, and he has many enemies, and I think he's going to be the murder victim. And probably these the two gentlemen and two ladies are going to work together to solve the murder. That's my guess. It's kind of obvious. Yeah, so as I said, I'm in chapter 7, and so far it's written really, really well. I am enjoying the perspective, the way it is written, and the characters are interesting, and they are funny, quirky. It's like a little bit like if you've watched Midsummer Murders, Inspector Barnaby. These stories, it's like something similar, just not with Inspector Barnaby being the main character, but it could well be in the same kind of world. Cooper's Chase is situated in Kent. I think I said that, or if not, then I'm saying it now. It's in Kent, in the south of the UK. So far, I haven't spoiled the story for myself. I haven't read the end, but I know that there are sequels, like it's a series, and I suppose there are other victims, and in each story they're going to solve the murder. It's much fun. Maybe you've read it as well. Don't spoil the story for me. I want to read this one. So that's that. Then The only news which got to me while I was on holiday is that as of yesterday or today, if you're watching it, the Summer of Romance crochet along has started. You can do also knitting and sewing, but the theme is Summer of Romance, enemies to lovers. So Clarissa Biff is running this together with Claudia from Crochet Luna. Clarissa Biff is Crochet Cakes. She had a live last night. I'm sorry that I couldn't watch it because it was like time difference problems, midnight, and I was totally naked from watching the soccer match, Italy versus Albania last night, but that's beside the point. Crochet along, it has started. Summer of Romance, enemies to lovers, and you are supposed to pick a couple which you would like to represent in your project, and you have time until August. The dates are announced in her live, and there's a replay option, so I'm going to link this video down below, and then you get all the details there. Because of the problems with Instagram not showing up the hashtags, she is running this crochet along on her Discord channel. I am a member of her Discord channel, but I have to admit that I haven't used it for quite a while because I am maybe I'm coming to an age where new technology and new things like that are not intuitive for me. So I'm struggling with posting and commenting, and yeah. But this is another incentive. If you are joining the crochet along, then you can join the Discord channel of Clarissa Biff. It's a free channel, and there are lots of like-minded people. Your clan is there, your kind of people, your folk, crochet folk. And yeah, I didn't know the couple which Clarissa Biff chose for her project. I saw that she is making a crochet, I think it was a crochet, yeah, a top, a summer top, or like a bralette. And Claudia, Crochet Luna, she is making a pair of socks, crochet socks, and her couple is Harry and Sally, which were actually my couple as well. But now that I saw that she already picked them, I think it would be more interesting to choose another couple. Haven't done that yet. There are a few on my mind which I could choose, like for instance Anthony Bridgerton and Kate Sharma from Bridgerton series 2. They were enemies at first before they became lovers. Or they were lovers, enemies, lovers. Then I also thought of Much Ado About Nothing, Beatrice and Benedict. That would be quite fun, but they would be the perfect enemies to lovers. But I don't know which project I could do for them. I'm sure there are many more couples to choose from. As I said, I haven't made up my mind yet. Love is a very strong emotion, and I think it's a very strong emotion to feel upset about a person, to feel emotional enough about a person that you consider them to be an enemy. So maybe that's just like a two sides of the same coin. People who have it in them, or who have such an emotional effect on you, are bound to be either enemy or lover. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just exaggerating as usual. So now, that's the crochet along, which is on my radar. Maybe you're going to join. Maybe you already did. Maybe you have already chosen your project. Let me know down below which you've chosen, which one. And last but not least, I would like to talk a little bit about my time on the island of Borkum. I realize that probably most of you have never heard of the island, or, well, the geography of Germany. If you're not from Europe, then you probably have your own ideas what Germany looks like. Most would probably think of the mountains, the beer, the dirndl, and these kind of things. That's just a tiny bit of geography and culture from Germany. Up in the north towards Holland and Denmark, all the islands along the coast there, and the Baltic Sea as well, not just the North Sea, but the Baltic Sea, quite different. Also the middle, the west and the east, all different cultures, influences, landscapes. So the island of Borkum is situated in the North Sea. It's the only island in, what do you call it? Not the high sea, is it? In German it's Hochseeinsel, apart from Helgoland, which is also in the middle of the ocean. It has a very allergy-friendly climate, and it's recommended if you have problems with allergies, with colds, and then you get a harsh, windy climate there, salty sea, and you get blown through and out and everything, and yeah. So Borkum, like many of the other Frisian towns, can only be reached by either ferry or by plane. And with plane, I mean a tiny, tiny plane, which can only be run when the weather's good enough. And with a ferry, I mean that some of the Frisian islands are very much, well, it depends on the tides, ebb and flow, and they can only be reached when it's high tide, and when it's low tide, then big areas of the North Sea along that coast are just without water. It's when you can see the bottom of the sea. You can even walk for kilometers over the bottom of the sea, but it can be quite dangerous because the water comes back quickly, and there are areas which fill with water, and you might be then on a stretch of higher ground, but you're cut off from the coast, so you have to know what you're doing. We kept on the island, we walked just along the beach, and Borkum, I grabbed a brochure for you, which is in English. It says, Borkum, Brief Freedom, the island of your dreams, interesting facts and information. So this is what it's called. And I thought I would have a look what I can show you. The North Sea island of Borkum gains attraction thanks to its almost unique ocean climate, wide sandy beaches that stretch for miles, fascinating island flora and fauna, and a charming town with plenty to offer in terms of culture and society. But that's not all. The largest of the East Frisian islands also has numerous sites and traditional events to show that lend the isle its typical character. The usual thing. So the area which you get to see only at low tide, the bottom of the sea which you get to see, is called the Wadden Sea, and it's an UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2009. It's the largest wetland biotope in the world, and it has very interesting wildlife. Then you have the beaches there, and yeah, they're talking about different parts of the island. There is Borkum, the town center. Then you have the area where you land with a boat, and when you land with a boat, you get a little train, which is a steam train, and you get into town with that one. And then there's also the so-called Ostland. Ostland is the eastern part of the island until the mid-19th century. Ostland was separated from the western part of the island at high tide. We mostly walked, and we stopped in between for a nice cup of tea or a big strawberry ice cream cup. You know, the things you do. Now, another thing which you can do is to go to Dijkhuis. This is run by the local heritage society, and I went there. It's a museum of all the things which they collected. At one stage, a potwal. What's that in English? A whale, a big whale with teeth. The one with a big head. What's it called? Come on. I will put it up here. It's stranded on the beach. So they didn't hunt it. It's stranded on the beach. Killed itself by suicide. And they prepared this for the museum. They have other skeletons from whales which they put up, also stranded on the beach. And they've got how they used to sleep in the little alcove. There's a bed there, and other things which they've collected. Also, in the 19th century and earlier, there wasn't much tourism on the islands. So what they did to survive, to make a living, was that the men went to sea. They were working mostly for the Dutch sailing companies and trading companies, and they were traveling as far as Greenland, and they were hunting whales. And this is part of their history, and that's also what they're showing. And they even had a little dollhouse there, something special, several dollhouses actually. So you were able, or I was allowed to take videos from the inside of this museum, and it was very interesting. I only show you a little bit of what I saw. They were showing all kinds of things which the sailors brought with them from all around the world. Also, not just china and boxes, wooden boxes, carved boxes, which they carved themselves, and shells, but also there was a huge wall just with sand samples, like beach sand from Italy, from New Zealand, from South Africa, Namibia, from South America. Wherever they went, they took a little sample of sand with them, and then you could see where they were. Do you see this here? That's at the entrance of this museum, and these are whale bones. Also, there is a whale path, a so-called path. You can walk along. It leads you all through the town, and you see bits and pieces of a whaling heritage, like the old lighthouse. There are graves around it, and those are graves from the whaling captains and their wives, and it says on there's a little story beside it, what their life was like and where they sailed to and how many whales and tons of whale oil and whatever they took. So this was really very interesting, I must say. So one of the advertised things to do when it's raining, I suppose. There's also the new lighthouse. It's called new, even though the construction year was 1879, and it was completely renovated in 2003, and the tower height is 60.3 meters above sea level. Yeah. The old lighthouse was built in 1576, and it was in operation from 1817 to 1879 as a lighthouse. And the tower height was 41 meters above sea level. You can't go up inside the old lighthouse to the top because the staircase is made of wood and it's rotten, and what they now have is a staircase outside of the tower 41 meters up. It's the only way you can go up there. I don't think that the public can go up there, but you can go up in the new lighthouse from 1879. I haven't, because I feel quite sick when I'm high up above the floor. Other things you can do is to enjoy the musical events. This is the pavilion which I spoke about. And also here are the cafes, and it's right here you see the sea, the open sea, and it's brilliant. You can walk along here. It's quite a long path, and yeah, it's lovely. We had not only Flora Falls there, but some other musicians. And one day we went to a concert by the music band called Cara, C-A-R-A. They are playing Irish music, Scottish music, and they are dwelling with a little bit of jazz. I had expected to be just Irish music, and that's not what happened, but yeah, it was okay. Well, that's all from me for today. I'm going to leave you here for today. And I hope that you enjoyed also my videos from my tour. I will leave links to all of them down below. It was like not exactly a video per day, but I put the footage together, and I think there are 4 or 5 videos, and I will link them down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming here to listen to my waffling. We are now hitting 3,060 subscribers. I don't know who you all are, but maybe it's time, if you feel like it, to introduce yourself in the comments down below. I know some of you, but certainly I don't know 3,060 people. I see about 4 to 5 people regularly commenting, and I know you by now. And I would like to hear where you are all coming from. So if nothing else, then maybe you just tell me where you are in the world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hopefully hitting the like button. And I will talk to you soon again. Keep well, keep safe. Bye-bye.